All right, this is how I dealt with bullies in high school. Now, anytime in life, if you don't do any action to prepare for it, life will punish you. Even if what's happening to you is out of your control and unavoidable, if you didn't do something inadvertently to prepare for a disaster or to overcome something, life will make you pay for it. So you can't go through life without knowing that. And it's especially as a man, it's unavoidable. So if you're like me, you went to a super ghetto school. Like some schools, in the movies on TV, there's bullies, and the kids, the bullies, their parents don't know they're bullies, and then their parents find out, like, oh, you're doing that at school? I'm gonna whoop your butt, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. No, I went to a ghetto school. I mean ghetto. Like kids in my school had been selling coke and pills since second grade. I remember there was a girl who was in my school who was 16 and pregnant, and her mom, who had her when she was 16 years old, came and fought this girl's enemy because she was pregnant. So you had a 32-year-old come and fight another 16-year-old because their 16-year-old was pregnant. That's what kind of school I went to. So kids in my school, if they made fun of your shoes, it wasn't like, oh, you could tell their parents on them and then they would stop. Their parents would make fun of your shoes too. So let me tell you a story. So we were having like a career fair, and in ninth grade. So we're gonna go to downtown Nashville, go to this convention. They're gonna teach us about jobs. It's a job fair, just preparing us that aren't gonna have careers to get in the workforce, basically. So there was this dude who was in this legit gang. I'm not gonna say the gang because I know plenty of people in this gang. And the gangs in my school were always beefing and trying to recruit people. And I've always been kind of big and strong. So the softest guy in the gang keeps trying to start a fight with me. But he had an OG, and he didn't know that me and the OG had history. Me and the OG had wrestled each other in like the finals in middle school. We went back and forth. Like he beat me earlier in the season. I beat him the next time. He beat me the time after that. And the fourth and final time, I won. So we had mutual respect for each other. But he was going down. He was deviating from that path. Like this guy he could have did something else with his life. So you got the newbie in the gang who's just a punk, who's just trying to start a fight with me. So he's lying to other people in his gang saying I did this to him, I disrespected them, I did that, thinking they were just going to jump me. But they didn't want to jump me because they knew that even if they jumped me, somebody was going to get hurt. It wasn't just going to be like, oh, 4-on-1 and it was an easy fight. No, I would at least knock two of them out, broke somebody's arm, did something crazy. So these guys corner me on the bus. It's like 4 or 5 guys. He's like, yo, what's up, man? So-and-so said you did this. What's poppin', blood? I'm like, hey, I ain't do that. This dude is lying, and he's scared. He just wants to fight me to prove himself. So he's trying to get y'all dragged up through the mud. Because the dude was new to gang life, but in the words of Bane, you were molded by the dark, adapted to it. I was raised in it as a young man, groomed by it. So yeah, I was like used to this shit. And I'm like, yo, bro, you not about to, he trying to set y'all up, bro. He really out here telling y'all that I did this and I did that. And bro, that wasn't me. He just making it up. And they didn't do it. Now, my entire high school existence, I was surrounded by people like this. The dude that was in this gang ended up I think he ended up shooting somebody. And I know he's in prison right now. I don't know what he did, but I'm pretty sure it was some cowardly stuff because he never wanted to run me to ones. He never wanted to square up with me one by one, but he was always jealous of me. And it wasn't like I was doing a lot to make him jealous. He was just a very insecure and vulnerable guy. He wasn't from here, and he wanted to fit in super bad. So he joined a gang, and he would just try to start shit. And anybody that would fall for it would have to deal with him and a literal gang instead of just him. And yeah, like just going through high school, I had more problems from ghetto women because I didn't hit girls. I had more ghetto problems from them than guys. So if you're a guy in high school, and say you don't want to join a sports team, which I highly recommend joining a sports team, and you don't have, look, bro, just be very good at one thing. You can do that. You can focus and max out in one thing. What if you're just really good at doing ankle picks? An ankle pick's a wrestling move. A good ankle pick is hard to defend. Just master that. Do that. Join a club. Join a chess club. Just have a community of people that will protect you. Because what I did was a big brute way of, I got these gun show and I can talk, educate, and defend myself with my mouth. And then if my mouth doesn't work, pause, I got these hands. So people didn't want to mess with me. And the only reason people didn't want to mess with me is because, like, every week on the announcements, they would hear my name on the announcements. Terrell won this, Terrell won that over the weekend, Terrell did this. But a much smarter approach is befriending and knowing the right people. And this is a part of every part of life. Once you get out to the world after, like, 10, you really, especially as a young man, you have to start being aware of what's going on and how the world and people operate. You can't just float through life willy-nilly. You need to build a tribe, and don't do it in unhealthy ways. That dude that tried to get me jumped, he got jumped by his gang. They were like, bro, you would have fucked us up. Because not only was it they were in a gang, they were in a gang competing against other gangs at the school, and they were always trying to recruit. Now imagine if you are running a gang and then your gang jumps somebody and they still lose the fight, or they take an L even though they win the fight. They're beat up. That's gonna make them look weak to the other gangs, and then you messed up. There's crime and there's punishment, even on the wrong side of the law, quote unquote. So yeah, that's how I avoided gangs, just by basically being an athlete, and how I stayed out of trouble is people didn't want to mess with me. The only people that felt comfortable messing with me were people who were in groups or women, because I didn't hit them. So train as much as you can, always and forever. Make yourself as big and strong as possible. Take no excuses. And the more you do for yourself, the more other people will do for you. It's your boy Terrell. Go ahead, like this video, share, subscribe. Peace.